Hi, I'm Robert Mitchell, and welcome to Cork Meets Fork, match number 8, where we're pairing up Grenache, as the French call it, or Garnacha, as the Spanish call it. Same grape, just different names in different countries, with Duck Confit. We're going to talk a little bit more about Duck Confit, too, and what that all means once we get into the cooking portion of the program. But first off, we are in probably the happiest and most fun food month of the year in November. We've got Thanksgiving coming up, the finest eating holiday of the year, and all month long we're going to focus on wines that go with turkey, or wines you can use in your Thanksgiving dinner. And we're starting that today with 2 Grenaches, and one Grenache and one Garnacha. I hope I don't confuse you with that today. Also, we've got a couple of events coming up. We have our 7th annual holiday wine show, which is November 18th. That holiday wine show was always at Sommelier, the wine shop. This year it's going to be at the Hobnob restaurant between Racine and Kenosha. And that is going to be $20 to get in, 25 wines to taste, a lot of wines for Thanksgiving. That's the Thursday before Thanksgiving, so it's very timely for you. And we will also have, you will have the opportunity to purchase the wines. That is $20, like I said, for the 25 wines and the appetizers. And you can book your reservation, and I do recommend doing that because we sold out the last couple of years. And you can call the Hobnob at 262-552-8008 to book that reservation. This upcoming Saturday, we've got a tasting at Sazzy V where we're going to introduce both of these wines so you can taste them after I have. And that is Saturday, the 6th of November, and the tasting is from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock. And these are the 2 wines of the month. I just want to say, too, I'm kind of stretching the rules a little bit. We have always said that we'll never go over $15 for a wine of the month, but this wine is too good. We're going a buck over for the Latria from Cellar Melandro, and this is actually $16 a bottle, and we've got a $13 bottle of Grenache, which I'm going to start tasting right now. This first wine is from the south of France, in the region of Vaucluse. And that is very, very close to Avignon in southern France. And it is a vin de pays. It's 100% Grenache. Just a really fresh fruit, easy drinking Grenache. And much bigger than most wines that I've had from that area. And the nose just comes out full of like this ripe plum, cherry, just real bright fruit. And the reason this is a good turkey match, and also we're pairing it with Duck Confit today, is it just has that softness, and you don't want to have a wine that's going to be too biting, too much of a tannic bite at the end to go with turkey. It'll blow away the turkey. You want something soft, something that's going to match the sage and the rosemary and the dressing and the cranberry sauce and all your sides with the turkey. And this is a perfect wine for that. It's just so fresh and ripe and like I said, soft. Great wine. And there is a little bit of almost like a earthy soil bite, like a little granite rock going right through the back of your tongue. And that's going to kind of go right through the fattiness of this Duck Confit that we're preparing for you later today. This is a winner. $13 for the Domaine de la Damas. And now we're going a little further south to Spain, and this is a wine from Cellar Melandro, and it's in a really interesting area called Montsant. And in Spain you have the most expensive wines coming out of a region that is right in the center of Montsant called Priorat. You have wines that range from $50 to $120 a bottle, where they're taking Grenache, sometimes they're adding Cabernet to the mix, sometimes Carignano, which is in this too. This is a 50-50 mix of Carignano and Grenache, or Garnacha, as the Spanish call it. And we call these baby Priorats because you don't have the price tag of those wines from Priorat. They are much less expensive, but you have almost that same grip to them, the same bigness of the wines, but without the price tag. Almost a little licorice in the nose, which is very, very common with wines from Priorat and Montsant, is to get that kind of licoriceiness with that real bright and dark fruit too. Boy, that coats the tongue. It almost reminds me of definitely wines from Fougères in southern France, that bigness, that fullness from those wines. Certainly wines from Priorat as well. But it's really a winner. You've got the softness in the first Grenache. In this Garnacha Carignana, you have more of a that licorice flavor comes through too, and that little bit of a bite. But two great wines that are going to really work well with this Duck Confit, which we're going to bring out for you right now so you can see this, and we'll match them up. All right, as always, this is the fun part when you get to try the dish and stick around because you're going to watch this get created. But I'm just going to describe this for you. You have the fried butternut squash, and you've got 2 layers of that. And in between, you have a little bit of the cream of spinach. Here's some of the duck breast with some fried sage. This is our celery confit and the duck confit over the top of that. Nice presentation, really good looking dish. And look at that cream of spinach just kind of ooze right out of there. This is like a duck confit sandwich. Just a hint of a crunch left with the butternut squash, but the sweetness of the duck is fantastic. I'm going to try this first with the Grenache from Domaine de la Damas. It's almost like you have this cherry sauce that's going right over the duck when you try the wine. Sometimes a wine can be the perfect condiment for the dish, and a compliment. That is very nice. And then we have the bigger wine from Cellar Melandro, the Latria. That nose is big. I'm going to taste that. I'm going to go with some of the duck breast. That's with our port wine reduction sauce. That is a beautiful, beautiful dish. It's really easy to make. We're going to show you how to do that. So stick around and watch this. It looks maybe a little more complicated than it actually is, but you're going to have some fun with this. Feel free to look at the recipe as we make it, and you can download the recipe online too. But hi, now the cooking portion of Cork Meets Fork. This is match number 8, and we're making the duck confit. And confit is a term that the French use that means confire, or to preserve. And when you're preserving the duck back into the duck fat, that is one way that they used to store duck or store meat for a long period of time without refrigeration. So they could keep the duck in the duck fat for up to a month, sometimes 2 months, by just storing it in the fat without refrigerating it at all. We have refrigeration now, so we don't need to do this, but you could actually keep this duck in its duck fat for like 3 weeks. I would recommend putting it in the refrigerator, but just a great way to preserve food. 2 different ways to do confit also. There are those that like to take the duck and just cut out the leg itself and cook that whole in the fat. But today what we're going to show you is how to pull the meat from the leg, and then we're going to reserve the breast and grill that too and make that part of the dish. Now it's very easy to separate the leg from the breast. One quick little cut there, and then you have the breast here, which you can cut right out. And see how it's still pink? This has been roasted, and we're just going to pop this on the grill then. And the term for confit, I always was taught that it meant confetti, which is not the case. I had a chef in Boston that told me it was confetti, but it actually does mean to preserve. But you just start cutting it off the bone and you just pull this apart, and then we're going to throw this into our dish, and we're going to bake this then for an hour and a half to 2 hours in its own duck fat, which we have right here. This is the mother lode. This is the duck fat, and we're just going to pour that over the top. It's going to get crispy, succulent, and perfect. Now we've seen the duck confit, but chefs have made different things and they call it confit. celery confit, which we're going to show you now, and then also tomato confit is real hot in restaurants. And basically, celery or tomato, they don't have fat to cook or to put the product back into. What they do is use olive oil, and the olive oil will act as that fat to preserve it and also to break it down a little bit. Here's a celery stalk, and we're going to cut it on a bias in just very thin slices here for our confit. And this is going to go on top of the duck, and it's going to add a little crispness to it, a little freshness to it too. And then the celery just goes right into our little container. We're going to hit it with a little bit of pepper, pinch of salt or two, and a little bit of olive oil. And we're just going to let that sit in there for about an hour and allow that to soften up a bit. Now the base of this dish, what's going to go under the duck confit is pretty interesting. This is where we get creative. We're taking a butternut squash, and I've sliced out little discs, pretty thin. We're going to stack these together. Between that will be a little bit of spinach. This is a cream spinach with Asiago cheese. We're also using sage as a garnish. We're going to fry some sage leaves. That's going to get nice and crispy, and we're going to put this on top of the butternut squash. So the sage leaves are crispy and fried, and then we've put the butternut squash into the deep fryer. And this is only going to take about a minute and a half. The plating, this is going to be a pretty dish. This is going to require a couple of little steps. First, we're going to put together our tower. And we're putting down the fried butternut squash, a little bit of the spinach, another layer of the squash, and then we're taking some of our fried sage leaves. They don't even taste like sage now, they're just so crispy, and that some of that real freshness is gone. And then the duck confit. And then we're going to finish this off with our little celery confit. And that's going to provide a little color and a little crispness there too. We're going to slice up some of the duck breast. And this is a little bit more done than if you're just doing the duck breast fresh, but I think it works with this. And it's still going to be very moist. And then just a little drizzle of our port wine sauce. So that is Grenache meets duck confit. Thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed the segment. And join us next week for match number 9 as we try something else that could work with the turkey.